Yeah, man, let's get into it. That's going to be on the pod. That question that I just read.
So this part right here is on the pod?
Yeah, this
or
whole
do you
thing
want
on
to
the
just restart that part? Let's just restart that.
Okay, fine. All right. Well, I mean, listen, we don't usually have comments, as we know.
Right.
We have a comment.
Got you.
And, shout out to Maya. I'm going to call her by her YouTube name. I know her from outside of that anyway. But she commented and had some questions for us to fill in. And I was going to do it through comments myself, but I was like, let's just do it on the pod. If we weren't going to have a pod this week, I'd go back in there and do it. But anyway,
right.
So her question, I'll spare you the first part because it feeds into your Grey's Anatomy fandom, which I'm not sure if you're like up on game
I'm not
yet.
like super fandom like right now.
Listen, I'm going to call it fandom. Okay, so she said, also wanted to know if you guys feel like it's time for us as Chicagoans to turn our backs on Ye, if we haven't already. Ye, Kanye West, for those of you who are not up on game for whatever reason. Why or why not? And did you guys catch the legendary D Rose on Matt Hoffa's podcast?
Okay, so
To start,
let's start with the fun part, the one we care about, the D Rose one.
I'd rather just get Kanye out of the way.
Okay, well, listen, I think it's
I feel like Kanye turned his back on us first.
I think Kanye
So
is just.
you can call your kid Chicago if you want, but it's not.
Yeah, you don't see him here. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they say
it's hard to be a celebrity here. We know that. We've discussed that before.
Yeah.
But fuck Kanye. I'm kind of
Yeah, I'm not. I haven't been really a follower or a fan.
If you're close to him, keep him
se.
close to you, man. Make sure you take care of him. Watch him, because I'm sure
Well,
he can
I
probably
don't know.
use some of that.
It seems like ain't nobody really close to him because it seems like he'd have more conversations that were better for him. But all right, listen, I don't want to get into that. Yes, it's time because he has to show that, when people show you who they are, you kind of got to truly believe them. DMX said something like that. I don't know I don't remember the exact wording he used, but essentially that. So
Yeah.
that's my answer to that. My answer to D Rose is the D Rose thing is
Let me tell you, first of all, to start with the D Rose thing. So far, I think it's only clips. I don't know if it's the whole thing.
that's why I've only.
But the audio is trash. I don't know.
Very bad.
I don't know what he's doing. He's not doing.
It's like the
D-Rose
way I
justice
sound
right
in
now.
these fucking headphones right now. I hate it so much.
Listen, man, if you want to have headphones that are 14 years old, sometimes you just got to work with the ones that are better
This sounds
than those.
better. I feel like I can hear my voice and it doesn't sound like.
That's why DJs have usually just one-on-one.
Yeah, man, I don't know, but they have really good headphones. These make me sound like a bitch.
It's a studio headphones that I have on too.
guys,
you
we're
know?
just gonna.
Hey, man, listen. You made an investment in headphones. Remember back in the day when those Sony...
Why are you pointing at these shoes?
No,
You
I'm
got
pointing
something to say?
I'm
I'm
like,
like
over there.
I'm like, what are you pointing at the
we
shoes
can
for?
bring the light to the shoes so that the shoe population can go ahead and...
Hey guys, look
indulge
at my
themselves.
shoes.
You can't just pull down your pants and be like, look at my dick.
Subscribe, like, shit, comment, put the bell thing, all that bullshit.
I hope that the full version of the D Rose interview is more...
I don't believe it's gonna. It sounds like they're in
Polished.
a fucking hollowed out like room.
Yeah, it's like they're doing construction.
You
in
know
there,
what?
and
Yeah,
they're like it's not.
It sounds like either that, like the drop ceiling's gone, or they moved to a different set with terrible audio.
It's the same set.
Yes, I don't know what happened.
Did they take down the acoustic things on the walls? Like that's not.
You took down all the egg cartons. Who the
It's
fuck
funny
found
because-
that out? You know what these will do?
Well, it's funny now they pitch those acoustic wall as their decorations.
Yeah.
But it's actually not decorations. But it looks good.
Shit do be looking good.
I gotta get some of that for the drums so
Yeah.
I can get back to business.
Vivi just asked me about that yesterday. If you still drum, so D Rose thing, I'm not gonna watch it till I can watch it in its entirety.
I've watched some of the clips.
It's interesting, some interesting facts about D Rose in there.
Yeah.
Like, all right, Derek.
I mean, listen, you got a Chicago product who his brothers were not necessarily involved in the cleanest ways to get money, but you got to do what you got to do. He was protected from all that, although it still kind of affected him. That's what I've got from the clips that have been out so far.
So this is what I got. No, we'll have more to talk about once he releases the entire thing, but we'll make sure to talk about it a little bit more once it happens because I'm for sure gonna check it out. Like,
So to answer your question, yes, I have watched the clips, and I intend to watch the whole video.
I haven't watched every clip just because I don't want to get them out of sequence. So
true.
I've seen like a couple minutes of one or
They
two.
do it really weird.
Yeah,
I know we
why
don't
they
really
do that.
release clips for the pod, really, but they put 14 clips out, and then 2 weeks later decide to put the whole thing out.
Yeah. Well, like I said,
I guess they're not time sensitive. I don't know.
we'll check it out though.
Yeah. Check it out.
Speaking of that, who we be?
Well, you actually said DMX had said.
Oh, yeah, but that was like 5 minutes.
It's true, but Welcome everybody to the Kasson Avenue podcast. I am your host Adam. I'm here with my brother Osama. Dog is here asleep. This is episode number 156, correct?
Yeah.
This is I guess we could drop the formerly known as, right? We don't need that anymore.
Yeah, we're
the Kasson Ave podcast now. That's who we are. Thank you all for tuning in to the show. If you are indeed tuning in, if the last video you were watching brought you to this video as a suggested video, I think you should just stay there.
Check, just stay for a while. Check us out.
The analytics will really have you mad when you look at these things sometimes.
Yo, David, what did it say this morning?
It said that the average view time is like 2 minutes, which the fuck.
That's disgusting. First and
foremost, you
foremost,
didn't even give us a chance.
2 minutes.
But then it also said that like 18% of viewers are still there at like the hour and 40-minute mark.
So me, the math genius that I am, you know what I mean?
I
figured
said
out that's
he had
like,
to definitely use a calculator.
That's like 56 or 57 really loyal viewers.
Yeah. Well, it's like, in the NBA when they do their analytics, they have your true shooting percentage. So it's based on like how many shots you take, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And how many touches and how your usage. It's all really in-depth, crazy
It's
shit.
a lot of analytics.
It's actually really scientific. I won't get into it right now.
Okay, so listen, all of those people, right? The 58, 57, whatever it is, you
How are
motherfuckers.
you doing,
I need you all to comment, man. Do us a favor and comment below. Just say what it is that you want to see from the pod, what it is
Interact
you like
with
about
us,
the
man.
pod. Just say hello, goddammit. But we need you to interact. If you are truly a fan of this podcast, we need you to help get the name out there a little bit more. And
I feel like we should have as many comments at least as
it's like
as we have
Smokey the Bear
likes.
said, right? Smokey the Bear said, only you can prevent forest fires. Well, only you can help us spread the fucking word, so we need help.
I have a shirt like that.
Smokey the Bear?
It's a green Smokey the Bear shirt.
I remember
It's really,
that
really
shirt.
big, though. I'm like, it looks like a maternity shirt.
All right.
So I try not to wear it because I'm like, I'm not pregnant.
Shirt, dude, a shirt will make you look hilarious.
It really
the
will.
wrong cut will fucking make your whole body
You ever
look
see those
like it's
stupid ass
fat.
commercials or like the little ads they put in YouTube videos where they're like, oh, I'm so fat. He's like, no, you're not fat. You just got the wrong shirt on.
Dude, like this will show accent all of the right places. It make your arm like for some reason it doesn't make your arm look fat, and it just like doesn't. There's some about a
If your
shirt
arm
that
looks
just,
fat, then your arm is probably fat. I'm just going to say that because, I mean, it takes a lot for your arm to look
tell
fat.
that to a fat arm motherfucker.
Well, he has fat arms.
Yeah, but a fat arm, if it's swung correctly, you got to dodge that.
No,
shit.
word. I'm not disputing that there's power behind it. I'm just saying, like, if it looks fat.
All right, is there power or momentum? Because I don't
Velocity?
know. No, because I think so. Momentum builds, right? So I think as they swing, there's not really much power as much as just like.
Yeah, I think
a
the word you're
little bit
looking
of-
for is velocity, Mr. Meth. You know,
I don't think so.
it's like when the immovable object meets the whatever that fucking
Physics?
Yeah, something like that. You know. Anyway, all right. Well, I didn't really want to start with Tom Brady, but let's start with Tom Brady. He's divorced now officially. He says, right?
Well, that was gonna happen.
Every time I see a story,
You think
like
he's gonna
this-
regret this by the end of the season? Like
No,
I really should have just stayed.
I
with
think
her.
he was regretting. All right. Every time I hear a story like this, the first thing that comes to my mind is if I'm like, and mind you, when he was drafted, he was like way, way, way back. Wasn't anywhere near looking like a top pick. Okay, he was like 300 something, like way back.
When Tom Brady was drafted, he looked like a preteen adolescent with like
Kind of was
with
almost,
like
you know?
acne. Now he's like
Or 18, 19, 20-year-old.
now
kid.
he's 40 years in the
Which was
league.
like-
How old do you think he's gonna play till?
I don't know. He's 45 now, so
He recently just said that he hasn't had retirement anywhere in his future.
he would be the first 50-year-old to be out there throwing a ball around.
Dude, if he's 50 years old playing fucking,
Then I'm gonna be so
football
mad that
in the
MJ didn't
NFL,
come back again. Anyway, look.
That would be hilarious too.
I always
Let
look at
Michael
this.
Jordan say, "I'm coming out of retirement." It just wouldn't have the same ring to it.
I always think about these things like, all right, if I'm like a top
no
prospect,
pun intended. Actually,
if I'm like at the top of my
Yeah, I mean,
career,
you get what I'm saying.
I hear you. I got you. I
No
feel you.
ring to, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Right, I got you. Double entendres. Don't even ask me how.
Well, his was a triple when he said, "Don't ask me
didn't-
how."
but yeah,
because
the-
double's a little easy. Like everybody be doing double
No,
entendres.
I mean, not
It's just like on
everybody
accident.
does a double
It
entendre.
just be happening on accident. People don't do it on
Yeah,
purpose.
but they don't catch it.
When you, well, I mean, I guess.
There's a lot of stupid folks. They just say shit and they just don't catch it.
I think maybe all of the negative criticism we give people is why they don't watch.
Is it double entendre or entendre? Because it looks like entendre when you spell it.
I don't know, man. I ain't French.
All right.
I'm assuming it's a French word.
Is this
'cause-
why you guys don't stay around? Like, because we just don't talk like in cohesive like thoughts.
It's cohesive. It just kind of like moves from one to the other pretty quickly.
All right, so back to
So every time I think about an athlete in this situation, I'm like, man, let's take Kevin Durant for example. I saw a story that he was like, said, "Oh, Kevin Durant's savage in the DMs, right?" I think he does things
savage in the DMs.
I think he does things right. You're talking about okay, Kevin Durant's about my age, 33 years old, something like that. He's arguably.
Don't that make you a little angry?
Yeah, always.
He's like
every single time I think about it.
He's like 10 inches taller than you.
Initially, it made
he's
me
about
mad.
100 times richer than you. He plays the sport you wish you could play.
When
for
Derrick Rose first got drafted, I
think
felt the
this
same
is
way.
Just me talking from my own
Nah,
experience.
when Derrick Rose first got drafted, I felt this way because I was like, "You're 1 year older than me. You literally were playing in the same like roundabout of tournaments as me when I was playing ball at 7th grade." Like,
Yo, LeBron James is the same year high school graduate I am. Just put it that way.
all right, we're getting off topic here.
Bullshit.
So I'm like, all right, Kevin Durant, he's like an 8-time scoring champ, which means he scored the most points out of anybody in the league for a season, right? Those of you who don't know, I got to make sure I just break it down for people.
Who you talking about again?
Kevin Durant.
Oh, yeah.
He's arguably a top 3 player in the league now and was arguably the top player in the league for like 2-3 seasons. He's going to go down as like a top 20 player, most likely when it's all said and done, Hall of Famer. He decided, hey, let me not go and get married and have like all this shit happening in my life. Let me go and play the field, do what I got to do. Like, that's the kind of athlete in his position I would be.
Yeah, I don't think
that any of them should ever get married. I
I
understand
told
the stability.
Vivi this. We've talked about.
I understand the
this specific
stability, all right? Because like you have a woman who's gonna hold you down, hopefully solid woman, who you don't have to run around about all these other women trying to like take your money from you and shit. Like it makes sense to a certain degree to get married, but also it's like then you end up like Tom Brady.
Awesome.
Then
All these hussies out here trying to take my dollars.
It's what it is. I'm sorry, but unfortunately it's true. And then you get to Tom Brady, and you're like, all right, he got married, had kids, 45 years old. Arguably at the end of his career, I don't know, he's maybe thinking something different, clearly. And now he's getting divorced, and all that money that he made, guaranteed, even though she's balling more than he is.
You think he's gonna give half?
And she made her money from walking up a damn catwalk.
I'm sure they
all right?
have prenups.
Probably, but that doesn't matter. Prenups will still end up with a woman getting some of that money, and it's just the way that things are in the world.
You think he's got to get? What the hell happened?
Because those prenups are based largely upon like what are the terms of this coming to an end.
I got tired of you, bitch.
And if he's basically like, listen, ball over my family. That's a lot of that is
I've heard the term. Ball is life.
So now you end up in a situation where even though you were married, had a woman holding you down for how many years, now you're like, oh well, shit, that's over, and I have to probably
that
give
can
you
happen
some money
in the
anyway.
real world,
And
too.
all the women I could have been
That could have
playing the field with.
That could happen in the real world.
Double
too.
entendre playing the field with.
But you caught it.
Yeah.
Not many people would. So listen.
Well, that's what we're doing.
No, and that can happen in the real world. That could be literally.
But the real world doesn't matter as much because we're not talking about as much money involved.
If you ain't got no money, that
notoriety.
You don't have like the options that Tom Brady had.
No.
You're right. I told Vivi, right? I told Vivi that if I were to get rich now, right, then obviously her being around, I would be inclined to be married to her, right? That's something I wouldn't mind being. I'm cool with it.
Yeah, it's like you said in The Wedding Singer. She was with me before I made my money, so I know I could trust her.
But if I were to be, let's say, for instance, me and her never met, and I got rich and famous or whatever. Maybe the history we have would help that differently, but let's say it was just a woman I never met before. If she came up to me and like, maybe she'd be bad, maybe she could be a really awesome chick. My gut instinct would to be not to like embark upon a relationship because I don't think you should at a certain age, at certain points in
it's difficult.
In those careers.
Like, listen,
think about it. You travel every fucking day to a new state.
Aside from all that,
for a whole season, the basketball season's like 9 months.
Aside from that,
it takes the whole year for the basketball season.
To be a successful
Barely an
male like public figure. Sorry, but it's specific to men. It's really difficult because like obviously now we got women who would never look at you if you were broke coming your way. Who do you trust? Who's like in it trying to like actually make something happen? Like there's no. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way for you to actually.
That's why there's some there's a lot of.
And then if you decide to go the other way and you're like, oh fuck it, I'm just gonna like, fuck him and move to the next one, to put it as crass as possible. You're putting yourself at like Me Too type of shit. That's really it's like all very.
I think it's important
thin line territory.
Just to I don't know how to maneuver that scene. And so I'm
You
not
got to be
gonna-
Tim Tebow, man.
I can't even
You got to be abstinent in this bitch.
AC Green. Yo, I'm not going to pretend to know how one should navigate that type of, reality of.
I would like to be able to
if that was
have
your
some
reality.
kind of
So
I'd like to be able to speak from experience on some of those things. It's just unfortunate.
I like money. I got a little bit of it. I'd like to get a little bit more.
So I keep it in a jar on top of my
Keep it in a
fridge.
jar on top of my refrigerator. Anyway, so in terms of how he has handled this, I mean, I can't really say whether or not he's done it wrong or right. I think that's all relative to what you as an individual are going through or what you need or desire in your life at that point. You know, to give the mature take.
If I'm gonna pretend like I was gonna say if I'm gonna pretend like I'm mature, then I would side with her over him in this. Only because
They got kids.
he's 45 years
How
old.
old
At
are
this
their
point.
kids?
I don't know, young I think.
Oh, because they've only been together for like 13 years.
Something like that. Yeah, it was
So
like,
they're like 10 or so.
yeah,
maybe.
10 and under. I think.
Yeah, they're not that young. I mean,
But-
not that old.
But aside from that, he's 45 years old. He has made it to the promised land, if you will. You know, like what 7 times, right? 7 rings.
7 rings, I believe. Yep.
And you're just old as shit at this point. So I mean, you've succeeded in your career as well as you could have hoped to, at this point. Not that you like if you still have gas in the tank, then great. But like, if I'm being mature about this situation, all right, you've done what you needed to do. You got all the money you need. You got all the notoriety that you need, all the success, all the accolades, and now your woman's like, yo, let's like take care of our kids now. You know, you could still be involved in football. Obviously, they're giving analyst jobs left and right. And round of applause for Charles Barkley and the TNT crew. You know,
Yeah, they did get their money, man.
they all did. A little side note there, but he can definitely like do something. You know, like it doesn't. And that's just a mature take. If I'm being like what I would do, like, listen, woman, I'm sorry, but like, this was a passion of mine. Having kids is an unfortunate side effect of fucking sometimes.
On the road again.
It's my immature take.
So I think that for the most part, they're handling it as best as they can, right? She needs something that he can't give, and he can't give it to her, so he's letting her go. I mean, that's kind of mature, if you want to be honest.
Yeah, I guess.
But yeah, so there's that. Giselle and Tom Brady broke up. Speaking in other sports news, actually, just because we're here, DeMar DeRozan hit 20,000 points.
Yes.
He's the 50th player in NBA history to reach that milestone.
And a star in Chicago now, so that's what's up. You know,
Yes,
good
indeed.
to do it. And also, man, Pop is just. Can you ever say anything enough about Popovich? Like that is
No.
like the most class act of
Yeah.
a coach of all time.
I think him and Steve Kerr are the best coaches we have in the league right now.
When he hit that 20,000 mark, he stopped the game pretty
Yeah,
much.
he got a
And
timeout.
Like let the
Took a
fans
timeout.
go and fucking cheer him on. You know, like that's
Because
just
he
dope.
played there for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And I guess he understands. DeMar DeRozan seems to be a pretty mature NBA player, like very. To me, he would seem
Professional.
like a player that would be easily coached, you know, because he knows what he's got to do. And
And he's doing what he got to do to succeed and
yeah.
win the game.
How old is he?
Good question. Let's see.
Because he's reached 20,000 points. He might be able to get up there another. I mean, I don't know how many points he scores per year, to be honest, but he could probably get to 25, 26,000. He's been scoring a lot.
He's
lately.
33.
Oh, 33.
Oh, he was born in '89, man. It's a couple months before I was.
So he's 30. I was going to say he seems to be about your age. So he's 33. He'll probably play another 5 years or 6 years, you know.
Unless he's Tom Brady, he's going to go another 12, 13 years, 14 years.
I think he'll probably get to that 25, 26,000 point mark, I think.
That's dope.
No, good for him. Glad to have you here. It's good to have a
winning
player
culture
who
here,
is
you
pretty
know?
highly revered around the league again.
Yeah.
It's nice to have that as a Chicago Bull fan. You know,
Hopefully, if Zach LaVine can remain, a healthy version of himself this year, we could.
Dude, how do you miss the first 2 games because of load management? We ain't had no load yet, man. What load did you manage that you had there was
Pause
nothing.
were applicable and all that.
Huh?
Said pause were applicable and all of that.
Pause all that shit if you have to. But I'm just saying, where's the load management? That's like me calling off the first day of my job, like a new job, saying, you know what?
I'm really stressed.
I needed a mental health day. Like from what? We haven't done nothing to you yet. I don't get it. He should have definitely been on that court. We paid him a lot of money. If we pay, it's probably, to be honest, though he probably deserves it based on the market of the NBA right now. Mm-hmm. Be honest with you.
Well, most of them are
we
overpaid.
We probably overpaid because he probably is going to be injury ridden for a long time. That just seems to be his fate going forward.
It could be. I mean, he came back.
It's like when you roll an ankle and you roll an ankle and you roll an ankle, you just become more susceptible.
But he came back after the ACL and he was looking really good, and he hasn't had an injury quite as substantial since.
Well, this is knee shit, right?
I think so. Yeah. So
I'm just saying it sucks, but he's such a high flyer and such a above the rim kind of guy that it's going to eventually affect him. I think he's still a pretty damn good player. But at that money, he should have been on that court that first game.
Yeah.
There's nothing to manage yet, motherfucker. There ain't been a load taken. Pause.
Listen, I'm not gonna move the goalpost. All right, because while I am a diehard D Rose fan, we gave him the same kind of leeway. Like me and you specifically. I don't. A lot of Chicago fans were
Derrick
different,
Rose was a fucking MVP.
Well, it's true, but also
and we knew what it meant.
We had to give him his ability to know his body and do what he had to do. It's early in the season. I'd rather him miss early games than later games.
All right, well, listen, my cape for D Rose is always on. All right?
Word up, listen.
And to me,
of course,
it's not the same. Zach LaVine wasn't an MVP caliber type player. He's not D Rose.
But since he's been in Chicago, he's done well. Things.
But the problem is, you're not going to tell. I told you can't call in on your first day at work and say, you know what? I agree. Yesterday took his toll on me. What was yesterday, motherfucker? We ain't open and you ain't been here yet.
He was already a Bulls player, so it was more like he came back from vacation and was like, "Listen, I need another day."
When I read that story, I thought it was ridiculous. But hopefully he comes back, and I think he may have already.
I'd rather him just have the longevity, So, if you need a couple extra days, man,
what's the longevity? I got to take off half the season. It means I get to play for the next 10?
Well,
the fuck out of here. You better play 5 the next 82.
I'm with you. I prefer listen, like they said before, fans don't get to come to every game. Not everybody's a season ticket holder. Sometimes people have to save their money and pay a lot of money to get the tickets. So the superstars should be on the floor.
Well, I understand that notion. And I understand also if a player is truly injured, then they shouldn't be on the court. But also, they shouldn't receive $250 million for what is it, 4 years, 5 years, and not even play the first game of the first season of that new contract.
You know what they need to do with 9 to 5 like regular jobs?
Pay us that much money?
Make it a contract that we can negotiate. Listen, I'll work for you, but I want $250,000 this year. I want $340,000 next year.
That's not how that works.
I want $1.5 million paid over the next 5 years.
If you can negotiate that, that'd be different. Like I want that. I want your.
I know
office.
that they're not gonna do that.
I want your office.
They should do that.
Okay, but yeah, so. Because
I'd be much more happy with my 9 to 5 if that was the case. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but everybody would work 9 to 5s if you could just get paid $300,000 out of nowhere all willy nilly.
I mean, performance-based contracts, If you ain't living up to your end of the bargain first 3 months, then you get a pay cut.
So let me ask you this:
collective bargaining.
This is a new contract for Zach LaVine, right? Mm-hmm. Is this the first day of the new valuation of his performance? Because if so, he's already. What does your contract say? You start with 0. You start with 100 points, and now he's got I don't think that works that way because
you earn your contract based on your prior play. That's why it gets you your bigger numbers.
That's true, but your current play is inactive.
I agree, but when they say it's a contract year and that's why they're playing their ass off and they're there starting every 82 games, blah blah blah. Contract year they play hard because they have to go and sign and make a case for a big contract. That's how it works.
I guess I'm okay with that when it's not my team.
I hear you, but I mean, listen, you got to just kind of take the good with the bad. And again, as long as when he's out there, if we have a winning campaign this season, and he's just like, oh, I'm not going to play, my knee hurts, it's just sore. No, get your ass out there, go fucking take an ice bath and do what you got to do. Pop a cortisone shot in the back of your fucking neck. Let's go.
Okay, so this is, who this reminds me of somewhat? They're not as good. Well, maybe so. Do you think Kawhi Leonard is an overrated player? And okay. With the notion and the understanding that he did, in very intangible and irreplaceable things on multiple championship squads, right? He was an MVP of one with the
It was
Spurs.
and then Toronto.
He brought Toronto to the chip and won it for that first year he played.
So
I get
overrated
that.
in what capacity?
Okay, he was rated. He was rated appropriately.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think that is following him as he's dropped off? So going forward,
I don't ever hear too much about him these days. Anyway, like
claw.
yeah, like they don't even let's say the TNT guys is like the analysts that I like to listen to the most. They're entertaining. I don't even hear them really bring him too often. So I can't really say that he's overrated because I don't hear too much about him these days.
For instance, right now I'm reading Kawhi Leonard has been ruled out for Sunday's game between the New Orleans Pelicans and the Clippers. The fuck? It's how many games have we played in the season?
It was like we just closed out like the opening week. So
like 6 games? Why? That's also a good game. It would be a fucking really good game if you played Kawhi.
What I also don't get is like I played a lot of basketball in my life. You played a lot of basketball in your life. I wanted to be in the game as often as possible.
I'm hurting, but
no. I'm saying like I wanted to be in the game as often as possible. Obviously, there were some games where I'm like, all right, I'm gonna sit down, man. I had enough today. But we played 7 games today.
The issue here, I think, is the idea that they think that it's a. That's true. The issue here is that they think that the playoffs are a foregone conclusion for them. Motherfucker, you gotta play the game. The league is different now. It's way different. You're in the West with the fucking and New Orleans is considered East or West.
New Orleans
is East, right?
Yeah.
I guess it is in the East, but for some reason I always feel like they say it's like a West Coast team.
Yeah, I feel like it's split up weird like that.
Yeah, but either way, rule out for a game that's gonna be great because, dude, you got Kawhi playing. I mean, you got Zion playing fucking great. Was it C.J. McCollum's in fucking in fucking New Orleans? That would be a good game. To me, it doesn't make sense that you're not playing that game if we've only played 6 games.
I agree.
Dude, it just seems
the load management thing is nonsense.
It's becoming crazy, yo.
Well, it was like a lot more hard-nosed back. Listen, all the people were like, oh, yeah, in the 90s, it was a bunch of... No, shut up.
Listen,
fuck down.
The
90s
Clippers
was like the most...
They entered the game with a 2-3 record in their first five contests of the season. They won against a terrible team in the Lakers, another terrible team in the Kings, and are currently on a 3-game losing streak. Okay? They came against the Suns and Oklahoma City twice. Okay? So, to me, you can't sit out. You better get your ass in that game. What the fuck are you doing?
I won't say that that's overrated, though. I think it's like...
he missed all of last season.
All of it. Whatever the new culture is of the NBA, which is load management and time management and player management and minute management. Like, that used to be reserved only for, like, actively injured players. It would be day-to-day, da-da-da. But now it's like, oh, let's make sure that we're putting as little strain on your body as possible. No, go put some strain on your fucking body and earn your $250.
I'm not trying to be insensitive, right? I get it because also we always listen. You brought up the idea of Derrick Rose, right? So we were able to be understanding in that regard. I understand.
Or my superstar to come back.
If you truly are injured, right? I just need you to just be like, all right, this I'm gonna play one game and not play the next, and play. So you end up playing 41 games in a season.
How do you ever get a actual rhythm going?
There is no rhythm. They said because he missed all of last season, right? That's cool, but he missed a lot of the season before. Did he play the fucking bubble season? This is what I'm saying. Like, there's been somebody interviewed him and they were like, "This is your first game since 2013." I don't know if that
I saw that.
That definitely was a mistake, right?
It was,
or
yeah,
was
for
it
sure.
a joke that she was giving?
I don't know if it was a joke. I think
because it was super tongue in cheek.
Yeah,
but
people were like,
"But it's appropriate,
yeah.
Motherfucker. When's the next time you're gonna play a full season? How old is he?"
Kawhi, I think around the same thing, 29, 30 maybe.
I don't want to come off as like, I just think that it's unreasonable to be like, I'm not going to play this game.
Oh, he's 31.
I'm not going to play the 6th game of the season. Really? You played 5 games and now you have to take a break? So every 5 games you're going to take a break?
I mean, he was Defensive Player of the Year in 2015 and 2016, so clearly...
It's quite a long time ago now.
Well, it's not 20... I'm saying, like, her 2013
I know,
was stupid.
It's just a long time ago now.
In 2021, he was named to the NBA 75th anniversary team. So he's been playing. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. Bill Russell, NBA Finals most valuable player, 2014 and 2019. Most improved player in 2012. Like he's been active.
Do you think we're ever going to see a healthy Anthony Davis?
No. He's gonna be one of those players that's also like injury ridden throughout his career.
He injured his back the other day dunking. He like dunked and like hung on the rim a second and came down and was like, oh.
There's just a lot of.
I've hurt my back too. Believe me, I've heard it during work as well.
Well, he wasn't stretching.
But I don't
clearly.
get paid millions and millions of dollars.
Well, millions and millions. Again, they don't make you,
okay, they don't make you
body.
You're
bones.
not invincible.
Yeah.
We should talk about the fact that they're bringing back Wolverine with Hugh Jackman.
We did. I talked about that one time.
We did.
Yeah,
we should talk about it a little bit more. Yeah. Okay, so now on the Zach LaVine. It was the third game of the season that LaVine has missed. So he missed the game against the Spurs. I'm assuming this was on the 27th. I don't know up to now if he's gotten back, but his knee, he's got knee problems
30th.
still.
Tomorrow's Halloween.
He's still got knee problems. Okay, so that being said, I don't know if who the hell decided let's give him this big ass extension. He's getting paid, yo.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's getting paid.
$250 million is excessive for somebody who's missed 3 out of the 5 games we've played already.
Everybody get money, and I told you it was based on your prior play. You know what I mean? You can't negotiate. It's like when you go for a new job, and they're like, "Oh, well, what have you done in the past?" They're not asking you, "Well, what are you going to do for us?" What did you do before to show us that you're actually going to be valuable here? Like that's how contract is negotiated.
You get fired here, you still have to get paid.
It's true. I don't know, man. Listen,
I just think it's really crazy.
If I was in the NBA, I'd be all for this.
NBA players are deciding to like fucking sit out first few games of the season. Like you have to get rhythm. You got to stretch that. You got to get their blood flowing to these places and try. I guess it does. I guess if you're truly injured more than you let
I forgot who the football analyst was, but they were talking about somebody like they didn't play the first they didn't play like preseason games, and they were like, I don't care which caliber of star you are. You need to get preseason in because you got to get into some football, and it's been a few months now.
Yeah.
And you need to like get out there. Sure, you've been working out, that's great, but like getting on the field, throwing the ball, getting in like a scrimmage, that's important for all the players.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's definitely
all about getting your reps in, man.
It is.
I don't know. It's just weird. There was something else I wanted to talk about with sports. It crossed my mind when we were there, but
I was just going to give you a topic to cap off sports.
You have one?
Yeah, I wanted to just talk about this thing that we talked about before we started recording with Anthony Edwards. So I'm a well-documented LeBron hater in many ways. All right, and again, I've alluded to the fact that hey, only so much I can say about him on court. Most of my hate stems from his off-court behavior.
Off court?
Off court. So Anthony Edwards said, "I've never seen so many people be so happy to see an athlete fail more than LeBron. His whole career, he's been hated on constantly and slandered to no end to the point where when he retires, nobody would have appreciated his greatness. I'm glad I will be one who did."
So that makes me think of one thing. All right. I used to really be a documented Kobe Bryant hater. I really was. And I think
there's rivalry that comes along with certain sport.
It does. But that doesn't mean you can't appreciate the idea that he is a great player. And even then, I denied that notion. It was incorrect. Kobe was great. Because maybe the Chicago thing, I felt like he mimicked Mike so much that it became, that annoys me. But
a lot of those things are true.
But it is. But I'll say this. He did it okay. He wasn't like Michael. He wasn't. But he was the next closest.
Listen, I'm the same way, but I have Kobe shit here and here.
He's the next closest thing in mentality we've ever seen.
The man has had a work ethic. He would bark at you
like Mike would bark at you, and he was ready to throw.
He had a work ethic that was highly unmatched.
Yes, and all I'm saying is I bring that up to say I wish that at some point I was able to have let that go to be able to enjoy him more.
Because here
I was alive and watched basketball his whole career. I was able to do. The thing about it is with such like a I don't know what you want to call it that I had against him. Like just
it's sport though, man. That's like it's part of the nature of the beast. Is you cheer on people, you hate other people. It's baseless, but it's because
damn him, he's great, but fuck him.
It's completely based in the game itself, right? Like
you wouldn't get me to say he was great. That's what it was,
right?
That I wish I could have said he's great, but fuck him.
He's not great. What I say about those two, what I say about Kobe and LeBron respectively is they're not Mike. They're not as good as Mike. To me,
you know what?
You know,
you're right, but we can't hold that against them.
It's not holding against them.
We do. I do. It's Mike. It's Mike. It's Mike. I hold it against them.
That's because every
literally
time
just pushing them together.
That's because anytime any of their names are mentioned, they compare it to Mike. What do you think is going to happen? Like whoever is starting these conversations is starting the debate. Like you can't mention one without mentioning the other's name. There's a respect there, but it's also like, excuse me, watch yourself. Keep in your lane because...
So what's your thoughts on Anthony Edwards?
My thought is this. Anthony Edwards, great young player, right? He's probably, like 20, 21, something like that now. He's in this generation where everything is just, like, extraordinarily hypersensitive and all they see is the bad, right? Nowhere in LeBron's career did I ever think that he had more hate than love. You either love him or you hate him, same way as with many other players, okay? People who are diehard LeBron fans will never acknowledge Jordan's greatness. It just won't because of the fact that they're LeBron fans. And vice versa. This happens on both sides. He is highly favored in a lot of situations, but the nature of sport is to compete, and there are favorites and there are least favorites, and you're going to have your favorite team, your least favorite. It's just how it works.
It's funny you say that, right? There's a video, I don't know if I sent it to you on Instagram, where the guy's asking two dudes, like, who's the greatest of all time? And the guy had a Kobe jersey on. He's like, Mike. And the other guy's like, my dad's going to kill me, but LeBron James. He's like, oh, LeBron, okay, cool. He's like, who was better at defense? How do you word it? Something along the lines of who was better or who would you pick on defense? He's like, I'll probably pick Mike. He's like, okay, who was a better scorer? He was like, probably Mike. He's like, who was more clutch? He's like, well, LeBron got more playoff wins technically. He's like, who was more clutch? He's like, probably Mike. He's like, who got more rings? He was like, well, the thing is, he was like, well, who got more rings? He's like, He's like, Mike. He's like, so it proves the point. Like, if you break it down in that aspect, Michael Jordan is still the only player to ever win a scoring title and a defensive title, a defensive player of the year title in the same year. Yeah. How do you do that? That means you focused on both equally as great.
That means that you didn't take one single play off, whether you're on offense or defense. You're running down the court, and nobody did that as well.
LeBron, till this day, still never won a scoring title.
Nope.
I don't know if he even has a Defensive Player of the Year title.
And what you also have to realize is when you're
Joakim Noah got Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Twice, I think.
When you're Anthony Edwards and you're making a statement like that, what you have to also understand is during Mike's day, you go from 85 to he retired multiple times. But social media wasn't the thing. And there was just as much hate. It just wasn't as illuminated.
I want to put a statement out there. There's no way in hell that LeBron James would have the scoring record or any of that shit, these records that he's gotten because of his longevity, had Mike not taken those years off. Had Mike played the year and a half that he took off, the 18 months, and had he played those years between 98 and 01, Michael Jordan would probably have passed the scoring, the number one scoring whatever in league's history. Yeah. He for sure would. He probably would have 2 more titles. I maintain. People from the Rockets like to say that he wouldn't. I think that Mike in the playoffs is like you cannot stop that man. He's got a will to go through you, and you cannot fight
while numbers don't lie, there's always more to the story than just like what LeBron's career numbers are to me. Because there's also like, okay, he went to the finals 9 times. How many times did he lose there? How many games did he win? How many points did he score in the playoffs? Well, guess what? That's because he went to the...
You guys will do a scoring percentage, a shooting percentage.
In a world where analytics...
A free throw, a whatever. You got all these analytics, but you can't give me the one analytic that says that because of the fact that he's 4 for 9... He's less than 50% from the fucking...
And not only that, but he went to the finals 9 times.
40,
That's great.
It was like 40, it's like 40%, 42%. That's not great. I mean, it's awesome in the grand scheme of things. You win 4 titles. Good. Is it 4 or 3?
He's 4.
If you win 4 titles, good for you. Perfect. That's fucking awesome. And in the normal world,
I didn't think you were going to get one before you got the first one. So.
What did the game said? I got $1 million. So LeBron don't win a ring.
That was before he joined Miami.
I wonder who he had to give that $1 million to.
I don't know, but he was like, I'm going to join Miami and I'm going to win that fucking ring.
So all I'm saying is, yes, you
There's
win
like a lot of
in
intangibles.
the real world, yes, but in competent, and it's only 2 away from what Mike has. But the story of that, the meat and potatoes, is the fact that Mike went to 6, won 6. You went to 9, got 4.
And like, listen, when you have these, this is a cut.
Would Mike win 9 straight? I don't know, but he would probably get 8. He would probably get 7 or 8.
I would agree with that.
Okay,
That's the season that he came back in, and the season that he was completely gone for. Those 2 seasons right there would have been rings.
Yeah.
You also had Scotty. God knows what's happening with him right now, but he was also playing peak basketball for his career at that time too. So
listen, I agree with Anthony Edwards to a certain extent.
I do not.
I said to a certain extent, because I think that the younger guys, they're gonna pick him, right? That's cool. Or there's probably younger guys that were brought up with the knowledge of who and what MJ really was, right?
And if you don't have it, you can go and find it.
That's the thing. YouTube is there. I just think that he's right to a certain extent, because
he's not, man. Listen, it's the same way. Like
on the court, right?
Yeah, he's talking about like his
on the court.
Well, he said on the court and off the court. I think he was like,
and you say you have no problem off the court.
And blah, blah, blah. Off the court is where most of my issues come with him.
Really?
I can't listen. The things that people say about you regarding your on-court performance. That's what people say about you. You can't do anything about it, right? So, like, it's not him who's sitting here like, I'm better than...
Is it because of his basketball-related off-the-court antics, or what he does else? Because he does really good shit.
Outside of his philanthropy shit, you know? Like, he's
Which
just...
is fucking big, man. I'm not going to lie.
That's great.
Damn, a lot of people... my foot up. I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not. Sign the fuck up!
A lot of people do... A lot of people are... I'm not going to take away from his philanthropy thing. I'm saying, like, you're trying to also build your legacy based on other people's legacy. And you know how I feel about that. I went off on it already. I think that Anthony Edwards is wrong because think about even in Mike's time, let's say social media aside, let's pretend it didn't exist today. Okay? Everybody who Mike went up against was a rival. It became a rival. The Detroit Bad Boys. Motherfuckers hated them, but people are still going to also say, oh, Isaiah was great. Like, what are you going to do? Like, Isaiah's Isaiah.
I hate Isaiah.
Of course.
Fuck him.
People feel the same way about Gary Payton and Karl Malone, and like they feel the same way about everybody who played there back in the day. You know, like there's people who don't like people and people who love them, and you can acknowledge the fact that they're great without liking them. It's fine.
You bringing up those two, Gary Payton, Karl Malone, right? It reminds me. So Shaq was on Drink Champs. Mm-hmm. He was talking about Dennis Rodman. You saw that? Mm-hmm. So for those who don't know, the Drink Champs one with Shaq, not with Kanye, the one they took down and everything. Shaq was on there telling a story, and the reason I say Adam reminded me is because at one point, Karl Malone and Gary Payton were put on the Lakers as like somewhat of a super team, but they were old as fuck. They were not going to do anything.
It's like when Mike joined the Wizards. Like,
yeah,
he was still killing.
Well, Mike was killing.
Wizards was not a team that was going to make the finals.
Well, they weren't. The problem is Karl Malone and Gary Payton weren't killing. That's the thing. Mike was still doing his thing. So on that team also, I believe, was Dennis Rodman. Or he came just Radaman. He came a little bit later.
Dennis
right?
Rodman.
So he came, I don't know if he was that same year or the year after, but he was there for like a year or so.
Yeah.
And Shaq is telling a story about Dennis Rodman because he was like, all right, let me ask you this question. Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, and Dennis Rodman on the same team. Who's the bigger star? And everybody's like, gotta be you, Shaq. I mean, it's you. He's like, no, you're wrong. And then EFN's like, it's going to be Rodman. And I would say that because obviously we were around to see Rodman.
Because Rodman lived like a rock star.
Like a rock star.
Yeah.
They said that, or Shaq said that Dennis Rodman would after the game, would go put no shower, go put clothes on and go straight to the club, and all the baddest bitches in the planet would be lined up to him. Can you imagine how musty that motherfucker that had to be like a those girls have to be a different type of breed to like
game sweat on him and shit.
The game sweat, not only his sweat, other guys' sweat because he's boxing them out, so he smells like other guys. It's really fucking. You got to think about that's got to be ear piercing, jaw shattering. You know that feeling like when you get
You have some sour.
Yeah, you feel it in those glands right here. You gotta have some similar feeling when that pungent ass smell just smacks the back of your fucking cranium.
Well, that's what I was gonna get to too. Like, if you talk to the players who played against Mike, like Shaq only for so long, obviously, like whatever, but those players all give Mike the respect because they know the kind of league that it was. And when Mike was coming to like run down the court and try to dunk on you, you're trying not to be made a poster out of.
He was
you're
strong,
like
man.
putting it. You're trying to like throw elbows at him and shit, and he's still dunking on your head.
Well,
he tells stories about him.
Strong.
Yeah. I mean, listen, that was one thing about Mike is if there was a weakness that was found somewhere in his game, the next season that weakness was gone instantly. Like he spent the whole summer working on it and still didn't lose anything else. Ridiculous. But all those players, all the greats who are now retired Hall of Famers and shit, they all are giving it to MJ because they know like what kind. He's a different animal. Like, and say what you will about the '90s league.
Black cat.
A lot of people who talk about the '90s are like it was like a tic-tacky league. Motherfucker, today is the tic-tac league. Like, they were physical then, and those fouls were not called the same way, and the refs were not controlling the pace of the game. Like, it was completely different. So there's a lot of intangibles that just are not included when that discussion comes up.
Speaking of ticky-tack, did you see the foul that... So Ben Simmons has been currently still being ridiculed for his lack of, I guess, presence on the court. There was that foul that they called against him on who did he foul? Fuck. It was just recent the other day.
With Ja Morant?
Yeah, with Ja Morant, when it was just a little bit of body. They fouled him out.
Yeah.
At least he's playing. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
He's on the court. Kawhi Leonard is crying like a little baby off the court, like, again. And I like Kawhi. That's the thing. Don't get me wrong. His little laugh. But I don't.
It's not a laugh. We've already
sounds like an engine trying
He
to
doesn't
start.
have a laugh. It's like when Mr. Burns was doing it. He's like, "Oh, you know what laughter sounds like."
Listen, him and fucking Levine, all these players who are just already in the first week of the league, the first week of the season, have decided that they need to sit out. At least Ben Simmons, his mentally checked out ass is still on the court.
Yeah.
I don't think that he's ever going to get to whatever he was at one point again. I think he truly just doesn't enjoy being on the court. Something happened, and that sucks for him.
I don't understand it.
But
all I wanted to do was just be on the court professionally. That's all I've ever wanted to do.
That's all I ever wanted to be is on the court. Oh, man.
But all right, I guess it's time for a break now. We've killed y'all with basketball, and then
yeah, we have not talked about basketball that much in a long time.
It's back, baby. You know what I mean?
It's bite.
And we'll be back. Because it is Halloween tomorrow. Obviously, this will come out after. And we spent the entire time actually talking about topics the first half. Let's talk about Halloween things, Let's start with what's it like in your neighborhood? Is there a lot of kids? Do you get the doorbell ring a lot? I know when you're in an apartment building, sometimes people
let me tell you a secret about myself, all right? For the last 10 years, 15 years of my life, my abode has not possessed a working doorbell. Ring somebody else's doorbell, bitches.
Listen, man, you seen Big Daddy, right?
Yeah, well.
Obviously, that's not realistic.
What's that thing? Fuck around and find out? Like, okay, I didn't want to give you little kids some fucking candy.
Yeah, but
get the fuck on and get somebody else to give you some candy.
You get them teenage kids out there, and you don't answer the door, then you can have.
If you are a teenager and you are ringing doorbells and you're not either 13 or 14, I think even 14's a stretch. You better get your little grown ass out of here.
They're gonna hit your house with some eggs. You do that shit.
I'm hit them with some fists. Little 14-year-olds to get these fucking hands.
Okay, so other words, not a whole lot of things happening in your neighborhood for candy. Related.
No, I think there are. I don't care.
Just not at your house.
Look, you can ring the fucking first floor all you want. All that. Is that light sealed?
I don't know, but I see it on the shoe boxes. So whatever.
It is what it is. Who cares? Yeah, but I mean, there are kids. I see them, but it ain't like it used to be. It used to be kids out all day.
Well, of course not. Yes.
As soon as they got home, they were trick or treating, little hungry bastards.
Well, not only that, but like they'd
Yo,
be
we
out
used to
until like
have-
9, 10 o'clock.
We used to have.
You would make rounds to the houses that gave you like full size candy bars a couple times. You know what I mean?
Dude, there were days where you would have like
I have pillowcases.
so much candy.
Use pillowcases.
How
Ain't
was
use no
that
damn-
even a fucking like? How could you encourage that? How was Halloween? Let's give them sweets. Was it trick or treat? Smell my feet. Give
Hey,
me
man,
something good to eat.
like
Bitch, what?
Like I told you.
Smell your feet or give you something good to eat. I'll give you some fucking good advice. Get the fuck off my porch
You're
before I
lucky
beat that
if
ass.
you get just the trick or treat part.
I'm gonna
today.
be an angry old man trying with these.
You're
little
already an
hairy
angry old man,
trick-or-treaters.
you know? I told Majil I was getting my haircut yesterday. I was like, yeah, he was asking about everybody because he always does, and he always asks about you and Pop specifically because he knows who you guys are. He was like, oh, yeah, what's up with Sam? Everything cool? I was like, yeah, he's just like going to the doctor, getting things checked out, making sure he's good. He's an old man now. I was like, he's turning 30. He just turned 37, Majid. He's like, what? He was like, no way, man.
What? Time flies, man.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, Sam's old, man. You know?
But no, man, trick or treaters and shit. I'm telling you, I think that it should be an option. And my option to not give you anything has been exercised.
Nah, listen, man. Listen, don't be a bitch, all right? You were a child once who indulged and participated
All right,
in these
well,
things.
look, you gonna pay for my doorbell to be working?
Why do you not have a doorbell that works? It's the cheapest thing to have in your house.
Yeah, well,
Nobody's asking you to have a ring
it's
camera.
another thing that somebody can contact you with.
Yeah, but they actually have to make
My
the effort to
phone's
come to
always
your house.
on me. They can call me whenever they want.
No, I'd rather
You
have
ain't
a
gonna be
working
able to
doorbell
come ring
and
my
no
doorbell
phone.
too and bug me there.
I'd rather have a working doorbell and no phone.
Leave me alone is what I got to say.
It's a damn shame, you know? Like, you're supposed to make a day out of it. What I like to do is I open the garage because it's in the front of the house.
You live in the suburbs.
I
It's
have a
different,
couple-
man.
You have a porch.
I'm not sitting out there. Fuck
Yo,
that.
that man. I've been on the phone with you mad times when you're on a porch.
Yeah, well, you sit on that porch quite often, actually.
You sit out there, you get a couple beers, you get a bowl of candy, and then you just throw it at the kids like bozo buckets. Hey man, catch this.
You know,
like,
what?
make a game out of
I'll
that
do
shit.
it if I could put a fence up like that stops at the public sidewalk, and then they got to just like if they can't catch it and it drops and it lands inside and they can't reach it, they can't have the candy. And then at the end of the night, I'll grab all that candy and bring it back inside.
It sounds like a whole lot more effort than just putting candy in their bag.
At least it's like you might get some, you might not.
Nah,
That's
man,
the
listen,
thing.
my only rule is you have to say trick or treat or I ain't giving you shit. I've told these kids, I'm like, fuck is that? What are you talking about? You can't just come to the door and hold your bag to me. What the fuck do I look like?
That's like a movie shit. Just knock it out of their hands. Fuck, it's my candy.
Like, in
punk.
fact, give me some candy.
Like if you ain't say,
Watch the
that
master
should
at
be the
work.
rule. If they don't say it, then you should be able to take candy out their bag.
It was like when Chappelle was taking his girl on a date and
Yeah,
had
and
baked.
it's positive and negative in the cash thing. Yeah, I'm telling you, you ain't
Don't
say
mind if
trick
I
or
do.
treat. It's like in Seinfeld when they didn't say "How are you?" or "How are you doing?" Like I forget the exact words, but they didn't say it at the bank, so he was like, "I want like free money, like supposed to get like $100 or something like that."
Oh yeah, because they have like a sign like, "Oh, if we don't greet you, then you."
Yeah. Listen, if you don't say trick or treat properly, then we gonna have some issues.
Nah, every time I'm like, "Yo, I don't know what's up with these kids, but their parents ain't teaching them shit." All you have one job: trick or treat. 3 words. If you cannot do that, go to somebody else's house. Then I become you.
Even now, I'm not a bit. See, I don't partake in Halloween usually in general. So,
But you did when you were a kid, and it was fun and exciting for you.
Yeah, I feel like that's been given back somehow. Mom gave candy when we were kids. So
No,
it was like a trade-off.
That's not how it works.
Yeah, it did.
The generation before her did the same thing.
Yeah, well, that's how that works.
It's like
We're at it.
No.
I'm to me because I haven't given any candy out. Nobody
Listen,
owes me anything.
We
I don't
operate.
know them
We
anything.
operate on arrears. On arrears. It's like when
What?
we're paying into Social Security
Say that one more time.
We're operating on arrears.
On rears?
Arrears.
I mean, we are sitting
Well,
on
no,
our rears.
The
yes.
A
I'm
belongs
technically
there.
operating. Huh?
So the A belongs there.
Arrears?
Arrears. So like you know how like when we pay our paycheck plays into Social Security, but it's for the generation like gonna retire now. That's what you do. So you have to give out candy.
Nah.
Now your kids are gonna have bad omens. You know, nobody's gonna give them shit.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
happen.
I
mean,
told
listen.
you. Do you remember Uncle Lloyd when we were younger? He would not. He would sometimes. You might get a fin. You might get $5 from him, right? You might get $5. That was like I'd say at 20.
But I feel
I'd
him
say
on
at
that.
that's
I feel
what
him
I'm
on that
saying.
now only
That's
because he
what I'm
has no
saying.
kids.
At 18.
But you are eventually gonna have kids, probably.
yeah, but like I don't now.
You're the worst of all time, man. If I lived in your block, I would egg your house every Halloween before even going to the door.
You are, yeah. And if I lived on my block, when you egg my house, I'm gonna shoot your ass with a little paintball gun right in your little ass.
Hell no, I'll be ready for you already. I'll be bobbing and weaving.
There's a video online of these two dudes in a guy's driveway stealing his catalytic converter. So he starts letting off fucking air. What's it called? His airsoft gun with the
air pellets or
paintballs.
whatever. Oh,
so he was shooting them with paintballs, and they started running down the block like they were like, ah! Shit's hilarious. But I would have kept. They said that he stopped shooting. I'd have been just fucking putting them in. I would wait till I was over them to just be fucking letting them off.
well, I thought there was like a whole family of them. They were saying.
A
There
couple
was
of
like
them, yeah. It's hilarious that they came out with airsoft guns with the little.
Hey man, I'm not trying to kill you, but I will hurt you. Like these hurt.
I don't know.
16 or 17
I
more
feel
pumps,
like if
that could break the skin.
If somebody's underneath my car trying to steal my cat, I feel like somebody's underneath my car trying to steal my catalytic converter. I have the right to, like, I don't know, hit them in one of their knees hard with like a hammer.
That's a sore topic for some people. There was just a whole political, a whole political attack with hammers and Pelosi and all that. I don't want to get into it all.
Well, that was because that was unjust. I'm saying these motherfuckers steal my catalytic converter. I need that. I gotta go get my emissions test. I don't got it. Then we're all fucked here.
It's pretty funny.
You need your knee. I need my catalytic converter. And one can be replaced. The other one, I'm sorry, you fucked.
Well, they do need replacements.
Yeah, well, replace these. That's because I don't give a fuck. Stealing my shit.
So anyway,
I start my car in the morning. It sounds like an angry smoker who smoked for 40 years of their life. Like, come on, man.
So basically, long story short, you don't allow the kids in your neighborhood to contact you for candy.
Nah.
You know what's funny? Is that goes against everything else that you've ever learned.
You lived with me on Ludlam for 5 years and we didn't have a doorbell.
Yeah, but we always had candy.
Because we were eating it. We weren't giving them shits to the nobody.
I was trying to, but motherfuckers wouldn't come to the door. I was like, yo, I'm going to stop buying candy.
See, that's the thing. You were seeking it out. I was unapologetically oblivious
Listen,
to
man,
that
I have certain things that I believe should occur in people's childhoods. Halloween is one of them.
Childhood.
Like, I legitimately believe that we had the last good childhood. I think today's kids don't know shit about like what it's like to have a fun childhood.
I agree.
So like, there's certain things that I think should exist, and certain traditions.
Okay, and what is that? I got to get these little motherfuckers some candy.
They should be outside, run around playing sports on a block.
You know that. Meanwhile, this is the generation that's telling us all the things we can't say and everything that's. Man, you know
that's
what?
true. Fuck them kids.
I was watching some Joe Rogan shit today, and he had Dr. Phil on.
Oh yeah, I saw you hit.
And they were talking about like the words you can't say. Apparently, you can't say mom and dad anymore.
What?
Yeah, like because it's offensive to the people who only have a mom and mom. Yeah, I don't know where we live anymore. I thought this was an alien planet. Look, I don't care if you have a mom and mom. That's cool, or a dad and dad. That's also cool. You can call them. You can call them appropriately. But to say that I can't call my mom, who was my mother, and my father, who was my father, dad, like that didn't make as much sense. But
what the fuck is Pop talking about?
What?
I don't know. I'll answer that later.
We're not gonna go there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like listen. And then they said that you can't call brainstorming. You can't say it anymore because it's offensive to people who don't have brain power.
That's like when they were saying, okay, and I kind of understood this more, right?
Which one?
With United Center, when they said you can't call it a Madhouse on Madison anymore.
Oh, because it's like they call like they
Yeah,
call
it's
that's
like
a negative. Yeah,
yeah. That I understood, but I
not-
didn't realize it was opening the floodgates.
Dude, they opened the floodgates completely.
Damn, somebody put a fucking levee up.
But yeah, you can't say mom and dad. There's a whole bunch of shit you just can't say anymore.
Yo, what the fuck, man? Yo, man.
All right, listen. For the sake of who gives a
All
fuck.
right, now those kids don't get candy. That's it. I'm not opening my fucking
This is
door.
the generation that's doing that.
I'm gonna sit out there with a beer like I intended to, and a bowl of candy. But I'm gonna be eating that candy, and when they come and ask for it, I'm gonna just fucking whip like Tootsie Rolls at them or some shit. Fuck out of here! You can't.
They can't even have Tootsie Rolls, man. Fuck out of here. Bro, these kids can't have nothing from me.
What's the nasty? I'll throw some candy corn at them.
Oh, okay. So there's like, all right. So here's the words. We're just gonna go through them really quickly because we've gone through serious talks already, and this to me is something I want to make jokes about. And I don't know exactly why you can't say all of these. We're just gonna go ahead and make our own assumptions and make jokes and move on. If you're offended, there's nothing to be offended about. This is only jokes. All right. So anyway,
Yo, that fucking Joe Budden disclaimer.
That is pretty funny.
This is jokes.
So
I
they
repeat.
said that you can't say first world problems. I don't know why first world problem would be. Is that because there's not? There's
Is it an
other
insult to the
world?
third world? Is that why?
No, because I think there's second and third world problems. But that's offensive to them because they don't have the first world problems, right? Is that what they're saying?
Yo, I don't know.
How is that? That's just circumstantial. It just is. This makes it seem like you have to consider everybody before you consider your own feelings.
Yeah,
That's a little
That's what it
nuts to
sounds
me.
like. You got to consider anything and everything before you do anything that matters to
Okay,
you.
so master bedroom. You can't say master bedroom anymore because of slavery, right?
Okay.
But everybody calls it the master bedroom because not because
So what do you call it instead? They're already offering alternatives to these things?
the biggest
The one with the bathroom?
yeah like listen.
Are they offering
nobody
alternatives?
calls it a
Because
master
if you're not
bedroom.
offering alternatives, then you're only offering problems.
Right.
I don't
You got
want
to
to
give me an appropriate word, a word for it then.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, nobody calls it master bedroom for what they're saying it's was for. Now they call it because it's literally the biggest bedroom in the house where you
So it's like the
are
main- the main
master of-
bedroom?
You are the master of your domain, so this should be your bedroom.
It's the main.
Are you gonna go? Are you gonna just sleep in the smallest bedroom just to spite the name of the biggest bedroom in the house? I will not sleep in there.
So then when you refer to people like the royal family, isn't that just pretty much shitting on everybody underneath them?
Yeah, I don't think you can call people royal family anymore, except you can't say that.
But you can't say that's a royal family because they're the ones who run everything.
You
So it
can't.
doesn't make any
Okay,
sense.
so lame. I don't know why you can't say lame anymore. Look, okay, so when I do it, try to see why you can't say lame, because I'm interested. What the hell does lame mean? Like, and they have there's a few of them, so we're gonna go.
Okay, well, especially of animals not able to walk correctly because of physical,
Literally, nobody knew that
because of
definition.
physical injury to or weakness in the legs or feet.
Okay, so then that means, I guess they've said I've heard lame duck before, right?
Yeah, but isn't that like a political term?
Isn't there two definitions for a lot of words, right?
Yeah,
Because I've never heard
man.
anybody say lame in the connotation of that. Everybody calls somebody a lame.
And then this one says, especially of an excuse or argument, weak and unsatisfactory. That works.
Yeah, you're lame, bruh. Lame ass. All right, so then there's look at what grandfathered in.
Goof ass.
Because what would that mean?
So you can't
Grandfathered
say
in?
grandfathered in?
Yeah, that may be. What is it? Because it's like you can't. That infers gender, or implies gender.
Let's see. Grandfathered in. Exempt someone or something from a new law or regulation. Smokers who worked here before they banned have been
why we can't
grandfathered.
say it. That's the point. Not the definition. We know what grandfathered in is.
Yeah, but it's not going to tell you, oh, you can't say it because of this.
Well, if it's part of the new thing, I guarantee it's the first search. Why can't you
Why?
say grandpa? And then it's going to be the first.
Why can't I say grandfathered in? The phrase grandfathered is not neutral and instead points to a systemic racist attempt to keep freed slaves from voting, coloreds from buying houses, blacks from marrying whites, and African Americans from exercising. I don't know why they use so many different nouns there. All right. See, this just gets into sketchy ass
This
territory.
is like, sometimes there's that thing where you're just looking for a reason, right? You're just looking for like it's
Which
like
used to be something you
it's
tried
like
to
if you're in a
avoid.
relationship, right? And you're like, you're kind of like.
The people who look for reasons were confrontational. You know?
Yeah, the people who look for like, oh, I'm gonna look in their phone because I want to find something. Why? Like this? There's literally nobody says that.
Motherfucker, I'm telling you. Remember before when I said we need to have like the origins of phrases podcast? We would have been doing perfectly great right now. We would have a following that was way higher than 298. People would
Probably
be like,
so.
yeah, what else shouldn't we say, man?
Dude.
Like that's the trend.
Well, there's a lot. Yeah, whatever. What are you gonna do? But yeah, so there's like a whole bunch. Powwow tribe.
Well, let me just explain something to you. And not to you, to them, anybody who cares. I will not be following a lot of these rules. There's a lot of things that I won't say that I haven't said. But everything else that I say, I'm just going to keep saying, you know?
Well, you heard it here first. You heard it here first, people.
I mean, yo.
You can't say lowest on the totem pole. I don't know. Is that? I'm sure that has something to do with some tragedy in the world, but nobody knows. Blindsided, blind spot, blind leading the blind.
Listen,
You can't
as
say
somebody
any of
who
these
is technically legally
things.
blind.
I get.
Say it all you want. I don't give a fuck. The only thing that's offensive when you start talking about blind is when you're saying like, oh, 'cause they kept talking about Stevie Wonder and if he could actually see.
Yeah, like, are you lying? No, the only reason other than that,
Although there's
the
a few
only
stories
way-
that make me believe that, I don't know, maybe you could see a little bit.
the only way I could see it being offensive is like if you're talking to somebody's blind is like, oh, you're blind. That's fucked up. You suck because you're blind.
Yeah,
that's the
like
only
if
way.
you're criticizing them because of their ailment that they cannot control.
But the term "blind leading the blind," though may be offensive, very, very.
Do you guys know what a metaphor is?
Like it's very. It's. I mean, if you look at it from the outside looking in and stop being all emotional about it, it makes sense. Why would that happen? It would not lead you anywhere. We've seen things like that happen in life.
They put words like ginormous in the dictionary because people just cannot stop using them. So the words that have already been in the dictionary for years and years and years, now you want me to stop using them because you all of a sudden decided to deem them inappropriate? It's really irritating, man. Like, you know the words that you should not say.
Yeah.
You know, based on your cultural background, the things that are appropriate to say to some degree. So listen,
I think it just requires a little common sense, and that's the problem. There's not a lot of common sense.
it's context. Like, you're not going to sit there and refer to somebody who fits the description literally of the thing that you're saying and say it to them derogatorily unless you want to fight.
You know who I want to fight derogatorily? Sneakers. The sneakers app.
I was thinking the kids that want candy from your house.
Oh, they just can't. They can ring the doorbell all they want. It doesn't work.
It's poor children.
I've closed blinds. I've walked in while they were next door and closed the door and locked it and went upstairs. Listen, there's no Halloween decorations on my house. I'm not trying to give you no motherfucking candy.
I don't know.
I don't even like to keep candy in the
I
house.
don't know, man. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know. But yeah, dude. Like, all right. So I haven't been wanting to buy any shoes in the last few days, but I wanted to see if they released those Starfish ones. Such a dope looking shoe, but they were only women's release, so I couldn't get them.
Right.
But I went on
Because as I've
I went
told
to
you before, you
Sneakers.
can't get the size comparison.
I went to Sneakers that day, and the military fours, the military black fours or whatever they are, those came out. And when they released, you know how it shows the price, you click on it, it hasn't been there. It hasn't been in that corner. I've scrolled down and I could see boys and toddlers and or infants and young boys or kids, but I couldn't find one to purchase for an adult.
They were like re-released some fire red somethings the other day.
Yeah, the threes. I'm just saying these motherfuckers better get their act together because I need those lost and found ones.
Mix your panties with your bras. Get your shit together.
Bro, if I get on fucking Sneakers that day and it won't let me click purchase, I will fucking punch every trick-or-treater that comes to my house.
You won't.
But next year, because it's November something that happens. So for a whole year, I'm going to be stewing in the fact that I couldn't get the lost and found.
You're going to forget.
And when Halloween comes around, it's going to be like a fucking, I don't know, something that just reminds you out of
It's going to be like if you
like a strike of lightning.
If somebody put you in a wrestling ring.
Do you guys remember?
And you had to fight a bunch of third graders. How many do you think you could take before
All
you?
of them. Do you remember I'll beat all those third graders' asses. They couldn't fuck with me. I'm going to start just swinging chairs.
As long as I got a cup.
I'm just going to...
Give me a cup, because I don't want something where they can swing at my balls. Like, that's a
How
cheat
big
code,
is
man.
a third grader? Like 4 foot?
Tall enough to hit me in the balls.
What I would do is I would literally launch my whole body at all of them, just taking them all out like a bowling ball.
You know how I always tell? Because when Jay-Z said, because the kid got more sixes than first grade, I was like, oh, so they're 8-year-old then.
So they're a bunch of 8-year-olds.
I learned from rap music, man.
So do you remember what it looked like when Sean was punching out all them children and Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking? Yeah. Do you remember that? He's like, ah!
He's like, I'm trying to win actor of the year or whatever.
Yo, so that's exactly what I would be doing. Those motherfucking third graders wouldn't stand a chance. But no, so back to Sneakers for a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right? So I'm just saying, I want those lost and founds. I've thought about, and I'm probably going to before that day comes, because they're gonna shock drop them soon, and I want a pair. As soon as I get that pair, I'll be fucking happy, right? Because I've got the Royal the Game Royal, what's it called, ones, and so that kind of covers the bread-ish. I got a blue. I just need a red now. I don't have a red. I've come up a couple of times in the last on the stealths and those.
If the black and red is bread, is the blue and black bled?
No. So
I'm just curious.
so these
you got to
motherfuckers-
work somewhere.
I'm gonna uninstall and install or reinstall the app on my phone.
Yeah.
and I'm hoping that that's what will help that because that's what I'm looking
So
for.
you can go in there and clear the cache because that's when they fuck you up. They keep your IP address saved and all that shit.
I was worried. I was like, why'd they ban me from buying shoes? I only get 2 a year from you fucks.
And that's if you're lucky.
But yeah, right. And I got lucky this year. So I'm hoping because apparently they got a lot of pairs and I'm trying to get a pair. But it needs to, hopefully it allows me to go in there because I don't want anything else this year, I don't think. I don't want the cherry red fucking 11s, right? Because as cool as a shoe as it looks like, I've got the 11s I want. I got the cool grays and I got the Concords. I think maybe if you were to ask me what I
had these things on the other day and I'm like, yo, that's a really red shoe on foot. The up-tempo.
Yeah, it is.
I'm like, sometimes a really red shoe on your foot is just really, really red on your foot.
Yes,
like,
I mean, that's the thing, right? I think a sneakerhead's battle with life is that you walk in your closet and there's mad options, but it's not an option that you're interested in that day.
it's like when you have like a color that is kind of bright and it's not really broken up too much. Those are like a basketball court shoe, right? Like those alternate grape fives. They're like super purple. What the fuck do you wear them with? Type of shit, you know? It's just
pairs? Oh no, what's underneath that?
Some basketball shoe, I think.
Oh yeah, I mean those grape fives. That's like a summer shoe every, a couple times a year.
Yeah, I mean it's just it's a lot.
That's why the gym purples with it. Yeah, gym purple. Those are dope. The gym purple ones. Is it
Court
gym
purple.
Court purple. I was like, that doesn't sound right. Gym, court, gymnasium. No, yeah. So the court purples is like it's appropriate because it breaks it up at least a little bit. I've only worn them a couple times.
That's what's necessary. That white on, like it helps.
Yeah,
kind of.
If you look at, because I've been even looking at the stealths, right? The stealths I think. So a lot of people don't like them because it's so much white. And what was the heritage ones? Is that the ones that came out right before it? The red.
Yeah.
The red, like the same blocking as the stealths, but with red instead of that gray. Now, I get it. I think when I hear, like, I listen to the Sneak This podcast a lot, right? With these guys that they've been doing it for a minute now, and
It's a shoe pod.
yeah, Sneak This.
Sneak this.
Yeah, they just put up their.
Are they
like,
talking shit about the shoes they don't like?
No, well, and I don't know how it started.
That would make more
I've
sense
thought
to
about
me.
that name, right? But no, their sneaker podcast, but they talk about like a plethora of cultural things, but mostly that. But they're a great podcast.
You see in the last podcast description, I put like come to Reparations Institute where you can learn a cornucopia of.
You saw that? I didn't see it.
I put like not that specifically, obviously, but
I'm gonna have to
something
check
along
that
that vein, yeah.
But no, they just filmed like 300 episodes or 300 some episodes.
shit.
I've been 311 or something. So they've been around for a minute. But I really enjoy watching it. But Greg,
Eventually, this is going to become the Recommend Other podcast.
listen,
Not
man,
just you, I'll talk about it too,
Hopefully,
like-
they recommend us. You know what I'm saying? But if not, it's still love. I still appreciate that. I listen to it because it's like there's only a few I really listen to on a consistent basis, and they just got a good a very good rhythm about the pod, and they talk about sneakers a lot and sports and
I mean,
football.
like 2 years ago, I didn't listen to any other pods besides ours. Now I listen to like 12 podcasts.
I try to keep it to a minimum.
Well, they're usually like the celebrity style ones because they just
Yeah.
have like interviews with
And
people
you know what's
who I wanna
funny is
hear
you
from,
curse out
know?
them fucking people for fucking putting podcasts out. But
It's a love-hate thing, man. It's
Yeah.
like certain ones I want to be around because like I told you, like the fly on the wall one with David Spade and Dana Carvey.
They
They
get
have
an interesting perspective.
yeah, I mean they have everybody on there.
Yeah.
Like they had Chevy Chase, they had Dana Carvey, they had Rob Schneider, or not Dana Carvey, obviously he's on there. They had Conan O'Brien, they had Adam Sandler, they had everybody who
And you
who
get
that era.
these
you
dope
know?
stories.
Yeah.
I get it. And I think that's the benefit of those.
They just had
because
Tom Hanks.
We're not going to be able to get these people in here to speak about that.
So
but
some
they
of them
have,
are cool. You get like some shit that you wouldn't
I'd
otherwise
agree.
know.
I'd agree. But in this podcast, right?
So you do have to go behind the music type of shit. Like you used to have to be a special on TV for that once in a while.
And we're not going to be able to get these people on. But
No.
so Greg, which is one of the hosts,
Greg?
right? They're from Phoenix. They say if anybody's ever in town, they can stop by. I'm always thinking about that, man. I want to
Oh, stop by there.
on the
Bring
pod.
my
You can
podcast
stop by.
equipment.
No, you could be on the pod, right? Like they say, if you like hit them up. Anybody's welcome. So if I ever make it to Phoenix, I'm gonna try to get there on the day that they're filming.
That's not the case here.
That would be but that would be pretty cool to do. But he was saying that there's just too much white on the stealths, right? And in the stealths, it looks a little bit different. Than
White is like white and black are the exceptions for me. You can have a completely white shoe, a completely black shoe. those are fine on my foot. I don't need something that's like super bright colored. That's like my only beef.
Bright color, referring to what?
Like again, like if I have like the Cherry 11s, like super red shoe.
I don't
like,
mind that.
It's just like
because
super
that's
pop.
tame. It all depends on how you wear it after that, right? You don't need if you got the shoe popping, you maybe wear a dope little hat, but you dumb it down, maybe some sweats and a white shirt or black shirt. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just
I feel like
it
they're
depends on how
basketball court.
It depends on how you
things,
freak it. You know what I mean? You gotta freak it. But he said it's too much white, which I understand, but on the Heritage more. Right, the Heritage. There's, you know what I'm talking about, right? You can picture them. There's just a lot. The red makes it more and more obvious that there's so much white, and it seems like it's missing a little bit of a paneling of red. The Stealths, I think, because I'm not gonna be able to get those 85, the white and gray joints. I forget what they call them. You know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But those are they're like OG pair, right? The problem with that is I can't get those now. They're like $400, and I'm not going to spend that much. But these are like the poor man's that. And though they were the same price at the same when they released, one is more expensive than the other, even now, right? So I liked them a lot. The materials were nice. To me, they were a pretty decent shoe. I'm gonna throw them out. I mean, I'm gonna put them on when it's probably springtime.
I'm gonna throw these motherfuckers out.
I don't need
I'm
these.
done with them.
No, but I'm gonna wear them probably in spring. But the Heritage, I definitely agree with that. I don't want them, but I almost was able to buy them for like 140. I was like, yo, this might actually be a reason to get
Sometimes if there's a pair of ones that you want, that maybe it depends. Like the hype train around them has to be, slow.
Yeah.
But sometimes you go on StockX and you can find them shits for under retail.
Well, I've been on Goat, and Goat has. I'm looking at those Visionaries as well. The like that Volt one with like it has the sail nylon tongue. I like those a lot. I've been going back and forth. I almost bought them a while back, and I didn't. But now I've been thinking about them a little bit more. So on Goat, they're 164, right?
It's about retail, right?
Yeah,
Like
with
160,
fees, I think it came out to 189. I was like, damn, it's not bad.
Yeah.
Because it's. I'm waiting to see.
And if you go around holiday season on a lot of those things, they usually give you
that's
codes
why-
so that you
so
can go and shop again for
My
like
plan
$25.
is that if the lost and founds don't work out for whatever Nike's reasoning is, I'll be mad if they don't at least give me a shot though. Let me press the button.
For
Let me
whatever
try
the
to
reasoning
purchase
is,
it.
they're like, the reason is we don't want you to buy these
Let
shoes.
me try to purchase it, right? Just let me get that shot. I'm also gonna go to stores and see what I can do. I'm gonna go to a few stores by my
Should
crib.
Nike outlet soon too.
Yeah, we should. But I'm gonna go ahead and get the Visionaries and say fuck it. But I think that Goat might throw a coupon out there or something soon. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But that's my long-winded story about the Stealths and the Heritage.
Long-winded, come on.
But so they better get their act right, because I've been hearing a lot of people have having issues, right? Because another channel I watch, but it's not a podcast, is the sneaker channel Unbreakable Kicks. Dudes from Chicago. I got the referral to watch dude from one of my coworkers. I guess is that his frat brother. So he was like, check him out. So I watch him. He goes live. So like that, when I hit you with something, like it's because usually he'll go live saying shock drop coming soon, right? So I'll be watching it or listening to it while I'm working, right? Like I'll have because YouTube has to stay open, but I'll be listening. So like he'll be like, all right, 10 o'clock. So if I'll be like, oh, it's 9:45. I'll just be sitting there waiting to see what comes out. So I'll hit Mike, and I'll see what.
I've been trying not to feed into the temptation, but sometimes, man, it depends.
Well, the thing
and also,
is,
I know most of the time I'm not going to get lucky.
That's why I give you the option to say no. But if I'm like, oh man, I think like all these up tempos, you've been seeing them releasing. Mm-hmm. Nothing on your radar right now.
Nah, not really. There's a few of them I just saw right now.
What
too,
is
and I was
one
like,
that you want that you don't have yet?
I don't know. I'd have to go and like dig in and look. I have a lot of them, man.
But I know. But is there like, do you have like all the color? Because I know there's some colorways out there.
Yeah, there's probably some.
Would you get those Supreme joints?
I'd fuck with them.
You would get those?
Well, I'm not gonna go like
how much are
spend
they?
extra on them.
Look on StockX or Go right now. I bet you they're. How much would you want to bet?
I'm on sneakers right now, and if these pennies weren't $200, I'd fuck with them.
Yeah, but those are, what are they, social status? That's like that collab.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have those in the white. And you got those, right? Mm-hmm. No, we have different versions because you have the one with the like. It's a different. It's not the blue, right? Where it's a full blue. On here, it's like a black or like a navy like outline on it. Which one are those?
They're on the row that's not touching the wall, 3 down, I think. The one that's touching the wall on that side, and then the one right over to it. You know where the 13s are on the top. Then you go down 2.
Yeah, I think we actually have different pairs. We have different pairs. But yeah, I don't know. So,
What the fuck?
are you looking for
What
them?
is shit? Oh, it's just taking a long time loading. I guess.
Oh, I was like, oh, dude, they got some.
They broke.
No, I'd be interested to see what those fucking those up tempos ones are because I don't know how I feel about them. I know based on the fact that they're like so custom because they had to stitch the Supreme on there instead of
And the fact that they got it to fit like comfortably the same way they do have up tempo around it.
Yeah, it doesn't look bad.
Yeah, they did go with that. I'm not like I don't need a lot of Supreme shit. I don't have anything Supreme.
Oh, I don't have
as it
any of
is
that
right
either.
now.
Oh, but
like,
yeah, so
those
they're
motherfuckers put out Supreme Oreos, and they cost. You remember when they dropped them shits?
700, 600. They're not cheap.
Yeah.
Anyway, what?
You remember when they dropped those fucking Supreme Oreos?
What?
They dropped
fives?
no Oreo cookies. You don't remember that? Yo,
No.
I remember it was like I still had the Sirius XM subscription on my car, so it was.
You
it
know,
was the
there's a
first year I got
motherfucker
it.
in this world with like packages
No,
and packages
motherfuckers,
of
listen.
old ass Oreos. In
It's
the
literally
box.
just like a regular pack of Oreos, but it said Supreme instead of Oreo on the cookie.
The Oreo didn't say.
And they
the
sold
Oreo
these
said
motherfuckers
Supreme?
in like a minute for like
The-
$1,000 for a pack of
Oreo
Oreo.
said Supreme on it.
The Oreo says Supreme.
I
It's a
guess
pack of Oreo
That is
cookies.
kind of cool. Somebody in
But
their house has
I mean,
a bunch of packages of nasty ass Oreos in their closet right now, being molded up. That's nasty as fuck.
Listen, I'm waiting for the day where LeBron
Supreme
James
stand-
Wheatie box goes up
Supreme-
because I have that in my pantry downstairs.
Supreme stands or fuck boys or whatever you. I don't think they're fuck boys because some Supreme stuff is cool, but stands, if you will, they will hoard everything about it.
They get a little crazy. It's like the people with Off-White.
Yeah, I don't have anything off white. Do you?
Me neither. There's a couple things that I would have liked to have had. But
Listen, me and Adam, as far as sneakerheads go, we love it. We're always talking about it.
we're also the least
We're-
lucky sneakerheads
but
of all time.
because of the fact that we don't really have the means to go out to venture to get some of these like higher end shoes, and we're not lucky enough to win them on sneakers or however you lucky
got the
motherfuckers end up
connects.
getting them. You got connections and shit. However that works, we don't got it. So a lot of the shoes that people are a lot of things that people consider hype. We either just don't have the time to go or mental capacity to want to go and chase them, or we just don't got it's not for us.
Yeah.
But we both seem to have a collection. Like I was thinking about it the other day. Like I only have like 40 some pairs of shoes, right? And I say only as a first world problem. Whoa, don't get me.
You can't say that.
No, no, don't get me. But as a first world problem. But either way,
Boo this man.
when I look at the shoes, they're concise. Like I have a lot of things that people would consider, grails. Like I have the Concord 11s, I have the fucking metallic black 5s.
Nah, you got a lot more of the grails than I do. I don't really have much of those things.
I somehow, some way. But the thing is, you got to remember, I've been like stacking my kicks since my metallic 5s are from fucking, what is it, 06, I think they came out. I got those from then. I got the Mars 4s from 04, 05 in my closet. And since those can't be really worn anymore because they squeak and they're all cracky, I got the fucking Fire Red 4s from before. I have cool gray 11s. I've got, what else? I mean, there's other things in there,
I have like notable kicks, but they're not like they weren't like on court shits.
You got the more niche or niche. What is it, niche or niche?
I don't know.
You found your niche? It's
We're
more
probably
niche.
not supposed to
niche.
say that.
They're niche. Probably. But you got them, like, think about it. Like, you got the Arab tempos, like a lot of, like, it's a very, not obscure, but lesser, like, there's a lot of people who love them, but, like, it's not universal. I got to have them. You got how many pairs?
5 and then one that's just dead stocked that I already
So
have
6?
a gym red version of. Yeah, 6.
Oh, okay, so you got 6 pairs. Fuck.
Well, yeah,
But
but
like,
one of them is not. It's just a copy of one that it's not dead stock.
you got a couple pairs of foams, right? That you like?
Yeah, I got one on right now.
Right, so I don't even have a pair of foams. Like apparently they're saying foams are going to be coming back within the next year. Like they're
I
going to
fuck
start
with them. There's
releasing
only
them.
certain ones though, because
Do
they're.
you want those 2s that are coming out?
No, I'm not a huge. I got the 2 twos.
Well, no.
I only really wanted the Wingets.
Okay.
Anyways, and then I got the mellow ones.
But
and
you don't see that they're fire. They're
yeah, but
you
I'm
see
not-
what they're releasing, right?
I saw it. Yeah,
The Chicago colorway.
Yeah.
Man, I fucking like them a lot. I just don't know when
I'm
they're
not
coming.
a huge fan of the
When do
silhouette
they
in
come out? Do you
general.
know?
Nope.
If they come out and I'm able to get them, I'm gonna give it a shot. There's certain shoes I'm just gonna try for. They're releasing the fucking black and white OG ones next year. They said we will not be calling them the panda ones because everybody's got fucking pandas everywhere. Everybody walking around with like a fucking black and white shoe, like we're in the fucking 50s and watching TV.
It's true.
Like got no goddamn pigment in this shit.
There was like the Black Cat 6s. Those came out, like, I don't know, a few years back, and I really wanted them. I wasn't able to get them.
I have a pair of 6s. I got
a couple pairs of 6s.
I have
not the ones, not those.
Mine, if you look them up, there's not many people, like, they're the varsity red 6s. So the red is not the infrared. It's not whatever. It's fucking varsity red. So it's a deeper red. Like,
So I got the infrared 6s, and then I got the All-Star 6s, which are pretty nice, but they're like
there's certain shoes I can't wear much anymore. Like, I really don't think I'll be wearing my 12s much. I won't wear 12s much during the winter because it's a little different. They're a little blockier. But, like, I won't wear my 6 much often. I might actually, because I said that, try to throw them on next week for the pod.
Okay.
You know? I've been rocking.
If anybody has a connect on the Photo Blue 9s, it's a shoe that I still wanted for a long time.
Yeah, you like 9s. A lot of people don't like 9s.
I don't know why, man. I got the breads. I thought were like a hit when I got them. I was like, yeah.
Well, they were. The thing is, it's cyclical. You know,
cyclical. Yes.
What's that in the office? It's like women shop based on their menstrual cycle. That's what he said. But it's just the office. It's the office. I didn't say that.
Yo, man, maybe if we said more outrageous things that people would follow.
I'm just going to start saying whatever I like. I don't care. But yeah, so the 9s, a lot of people don't like. But so you think about that. Like, right now I'm sitting on, it's funny because I went from only having a few to like, I have like 5 pairs of Jordan 1, actually 6, because I got a pair of lows that I got really lucky at Nordstrom Rack on. That, you know, because those are those cool gray 11, what's it called? Cool gray ones, the lows.
I think tomorrow I'm going to stand out there. I'm gonna have the Shattered Backboard 3.0s to commemorate Halloween colors. I'm gonna hang out in the garage with a beer, maybe an Oktoberfest.
Fucking terrible beer. I don't know why you drink those.
Actually, it's not bad. But it gotta be fresh though, because like the Leinen Kugel Oktoberfest. I bought a 6-pack for them when like when they first got released this year. And they were good. And then I had like 2 of them left in there for like a month and a half. And then I opened it. I was like, ugh.
Like, that's not good.
It's got to be fresh.
That's not good no more.
It's good when it's fresh, but it's not good when it's not fresh.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's not too many other shoes. I just know that they keep talking about more shock drops. Like, actually, before we started the pod, I saw my YouTube alerts came up that he was saying more shock drops soon.
In the mic.
Oh, more. I'm sorry. I can't. More shock drops soon. So yeah, I'm gonna keep you posted because you never know what's gonna come out. The other day I went on and the Volt ones, remember those, with just the green on this part.
Yeah,
which
is good because
they were available.
The Volt green is a very bright green. It needs just like a touch.
Well, the Visionaries are different. I like them. I know you're not a big fan of like all green.
Well, it's like they put the tempos in that color.
Yeah,
it's just like extraordinarily tennis ball.
Like a highlighter.
It looks like I cut tennis balls and put them on my feet and I was walking around with them shits.
It's even worse than that. It's vibrant.
Yeah.
But like, what was I gonna say? What was I saying?
The Volt ones and
I went on Nike's app in the morning and they had a pair available, but it was like a size 15. I was like, what the fuck? Like randomly.
Yeah.
And then they had
like somebody custom ordered it. And they were like, I'm not gonna.
There was a pair of like size 6 or 7 men's Marina Blue ones as well. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, man, imagine if I woke up in both of these. I would buy both of them.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll probably add a couple pairs more next year. This year, I think I got because I got the 11s and the Dunks.
Like, think about it. Like Brandon Branch, for instance, right? That motherfucker got like.
Call out his whole government, huh?
He got a lot of fucking. He got a lot of fucking 12s, right?
Yeah.
A lot, and he probably more than both of us combined in shoes in general. I think, but I could be wrong with that.
Yeah, he put up a picture like showing like what his.
Yeah,
he's like, oh, I bet it looks like the back room of the sneaker house, like a sneaker store in there.
I need a sneaker store, man. I mean, not a sneaker store, a sneaker room, because my shit is just there's overflow everywhere. Like our shoes now, shoes got to be stacked in this place now because they can't fit in here anymore. It's crazy.
Yeah.
If I want a closet, I have to take shoes and move them out of the closet.
So we go outside. I got the only clothing on.
But yeah, so no sneakers. There, I do think Nike's got to do better with their fucking coupon codes. Hopefully, they throw a couple more out there for the holiday season.
Listen, coupons would be great, but also just the ability to buy them for regular price would be great.
All I want is the lost and founds, and I'll be happy.
I'll look through, man. I don't really have anything like on my list where I'm like, I'd like to grab that this year, based off what's coming. But maybe on a shock drop, something cool that I had missed out on before will pop up, and I'll be like, oh, great.
All right. Well, listen, we've got sneakers. I mean, we could talk about sneakers, what we have on, but I have one funny little tidbit of thing I've been recognizing on Instagram lately. So I follow a lot of detailing pages, just, because I mean, I've been getting back into that mode. So I've just been following them, extraction videos, right? Really kind of satisfying shit. And let me tell you
the ASMR of your eyes, if you will.
Yeah, for Do you want to know what a common factor about each of these pages that I go to when I look at their bio, what it says?
What's that?
Do you want to
live
know
somewhere else?
No. Do you want to know who is out of like? And I'm talking about like 4, maybe 5 of them. Do you know who's following them? You could guess 1,200 times, and you wouldn't come up with the answer. But you can go ahead and guess twice. Go ahead. And now I want you to think outside the box. Not
Young
detailing.
Jeezy.
Man, you're close, but no.
Since we were just listening to him, Currency.
No.
Who?
Benny the Butcher.
Interesting.
I keep seeing get Benny underneath under like I'm like so either
I wouldn't be surprised if you said Bill Burr. He always talks about like because like when people are doing the pressure washing business and shit, he's like, there's this one guy who's like, I always follow his videos. He's like, there's something so satisfying about watching it to me. Like a lot of people feel that way about like.
Why don't they watch ours? It's got to be satisfying to watch me scream at you talking about come and follow us.
I don't think so.
Probably not. Well, listen, it's funny to see that Benny the Butcher is actually following these pages like as I follow him.
Interesting.
I wonder. I'd be interested to see what his. Is it because maybe it's something to calm him down, or I'd be interested to see what it is?
Because it's about the content,
not
like, about the content creator.
Hey, Benny, look, I would like to start a business in Buffalo. Let's go ahead and talk.
He's like, I didn't even want to have business in Buffalo.
Anyway, man, we'll figure it out. But anyway, I guess
nobody wants to be there. I mean, I did have one other thing I want to talk about, I don't really. It's kind of
talk about it.
I was gonna say because they put out the 50 worst rappers of all time list, right? But I was also
Silk
like,
the Shocker was number 1,
and
I understand that because that's how we rap. It was the third.
My thing about it was that these lists are always gonna be subjective. So like you may have a few that are. So it's really just gonna be like analyzing the list, not really analyzing who's on the list. I thought there was a couple of funny people, so I can go ahead and just hit those people. I guess number 1 to put Master P is number 3.
Number 1, they put Master P as number 3.
Well, that's one of the first things that I.
Well, number 1 was Silk the Shocker.
Yes, number 1 was Silk.
His brother is 2 down.
His brother.
So, do you think they should have a competition for who's the worst, or should they be trying to get better? I mean, they're closer to the bottom.
Or does that mean they should just not? Like, if the world lost,
it's hard for me to say that.
If the world lost their discographies,
then there'd be tragedy.
So then why do we have them number 1 on the list? Because as a
losing Master
P, general,
losing Master P and No Limit.
No, not his whole.
Well, that's kind of what happens.
That's not true.
You lose Master P's discography means you lose a lot of No Limit.
But some of these people, man, it's like you can't even put them. They're not rappers.
Who?
Like Diddy's not a rapper.
Diddy.
Number 10 on the list. Number 16 is Yeet.
Who?
Yeet.
Who?
Yeet. But I feel like you can't say it without saying Yeet.
Is that a real rapper's name?
I guess.
He's number 16?
Blueface, number 19. They put Cardi B as number 20.
That's pretty funny. Now, I believe Cardi can rap.
Soulja Boy, I know he's mad as hell. Number 24 on the list.
He'd be mad because he's not considered the worst.
Saint Lunatics, number 28.
The whole group?
The whole group. Hey, man, Murphy Lee was all right,
They consider them all just one thing.
All of them.
One person. You got equal one person.
C Murda, number 30.
Damn, they just going at No Limit.
French Montana, 33. Mike Jones, number 35. You can't even really say that because like if you were catchy and like everybody knew all the lyrics to all of your shit.
8004. Hit Mac Jones up on the low because Mike Jones about to blow.
Tony Yayo,
Mike Jones,
who I believe,
Mike Jones, the one and only. You can't clone me. Got a lot of haters and a lot of phonies. Some fans
know
say
all of
some
the
phonies.
words.
Well, because everybody did because he had one song and it was on the radio
that
for
was a
years.
moment, you know. That whole shit was a moment. Yayo is 42, which I think he could be a little higher up on that list personally.
Man, listen, what is it called again?
Thoughts of a Predicate Felon. But the only good songs on that were not him
Dude,
only.
No, that's a good album.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Listen,
we can.
Listen, who the fuck is Tom McDonald?
We ain't got, huh?
Who is Tom McDonald?
I mean,
Tom McDonald.
Not Michael McDonald.
No,
Michael McDonald's son.
No, this is a rapper. This is the worst rapper list.
We gonna go. I don't know the songs that Michael McDonald sing. I just know he sounds like that.
Before that, I had that name before that. No talent ass clown. He should change his name. Yeah, who's Tom McDonald? I don't know.
I couldn't tell you. Stop asking me.
Nelly is number 46.
No, don't do that to Nelly.
They did it. They put NBA YoungBoy as number 50.
Who?
NBA YoungBoy was number 50.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Nick Cannon down there, number 26. Chingy, Bow Wow. I think they're just like, at one point...
Everybody who stopped rapping early.
At what point does it become like, all right, you were not the best. You're somewhere in the middle, but like the worst is also there, and we have to fill 50 spots.
I don't understand it.
Vanilla Ice, Birdman. Birdman didn't rap. He just speaks over records.
He gets his hand rubs on. Put some respect on my name.
You want somebody rubbing their hands on your record. Oh, man, they're about to get a curse, too. They put Lil B on here.
Who's that?
Lil B, the bass god. He put curses on people.
It's a name?
You know? Yeah. Anyway, so I just thought that was funny, but I don't really want to go into depth about that.
No, it is pretty funny, but I mean,
it's a hilarious list when you put the worst of anything.
They are really going at No Limit in that list. They don't want no parts of them.
It had to be a biased list.
Make them say,
I don't think this was like a meeting of the minds.
I
don't think this was a meeting of the minds who put this together. Cool. I don't think there was a meeting of the minds who put this list together.
Just one mind put it together?
One guy was like, fuck them. It's like I sent fan mail to them 3 weeks. They didn't respond.
I heard, what do you say? Dear, what's the fucking Stan song? Yes,
dear Mister, I'm too good to call and write my fans.
This will be the last package I ever send your ass. What is it? 6 months, still no word. I don't deserve it.
Yo, man,
I know you got the last few letters. I wrote the addresses.
Round of applause for Osama's Eminem knowledge.
This is how you know. But this is how you know that I was an Eminem fan, and I mean what I say.
I say what I feel, do whatever I want to.
Those first 2 albums were created, and they were great. I guess 3 if you want to consider Infinite the way it was. But those first 2 commercial albums, those are great.
I mean, Eminem show had a couple of things on it.
Yeah, but we're talking about going from 2 albums who had straight through to an album that had a couple of things on it. That's where the difference lies. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
Dude, think about that. Marshall Mathers, I might even consider Marshall Mathers. You know how
we drove to Sandusky, Ohio, and we listened to Relapse the entire time through.
But do you know you know how people consider the
I'm just saying, you got to give Relapse some kind of due because
those are fun albums. We listened to it
for 4.5 days straight.
They're not in the same realm as those 2. Did you break that again?
No, I just dropped the thing.
Oh, Lord. I was like, this motherfucker. But do you know how people consider Illmatic? I mean, it was written better than Illmatic
because it is.
Well, not in a more
in a complete
sense.
Yes, as a complete rap album. Yes.
I don't know about. I won't say complete because I believe that Illmatic is complete, but.
You're a Nas
I also believe
it's your top list guy.
I also believe that Marshall Mathers was probably, in my opinion, better than Slim Shady to me. Though Slim Shady,
if I thought In My Lifetime Volume 1 was better than Reasonable Doubt, I would say that. You know what I mean?
No, I don't. That's objectively
I don't
incorrect.
believe that.
Even though it has one of my favorite, if not one of the best Jay-Z songs objectively ever,
which is
From Where I'm From.
Oh.
That's that beat. Yeah. Oh man, how real is this? All right, well,
Cool, man.
We gave you enough.
Oh yeah, I think so.
Oh, we got sneakers?
yeah. Let's talk about.
We talked
shoes
about them for so long.
Let's talk about shoes for another 2.5 minutes. I got eggplant foams on today. It's like purple. Give you a little Halloweeny.
Those rarely see the outside, right? They just be inside.
Yeah, they're not.
They're
Well, I've taken them out a few
strictly
times.
inside shoes.
No. I've taken them out a few times, but there's a shoe that you're careful when you wear them. You know what I mean?
No wonder.
So.
Well, I brought out a crowd favorite. Hopefully, the crowd comes back out of these. What is that? I guess they're navy Vapor Maxes, but that's about it.
There's some kind of blue.
They're a navy. They're a navy.
Cool, man.
With that being said,
yeah. They don't know. Thank you all for tuning in to the podcast today. If you did indeed tune into the podcast, don't be like Sam, y'all. Give the kids candy, Let them enjoy their damn...
Yeah, but not in a weird way.
No. It's funny. I wanted to say this, too. They tell you, don't take candy from strangers unless it's Halloween. It's really backwards in a way.
And that's why I stick by my story.
If we offer it to them, it's different than them coming and ask for it. Or something like that.
Want some candy?
Anyway, we appreciate you all tuning in. I'm going to start that over again just because we're not done here yet. We appreciate you all. And, tell your friends and comment and subscribe and like and do all the things that you would do on a YouTube video that you appreciated.
Yeah, and if you made it to this point, if you're
part of the 18%,
please recognize that we love you and we appreciate you.
Better not.
But as I said earlier, please fucking comment because we need to know who's watching, what they're watching for,
is
and
it
what
Sam's
we can do to
irateness?
improve.
Is it Sam's irateness? You can tell us. He says he loves you, but sometimes it's just a little anger.
It's just like a formality.
Thanks for dropping in, y'all. We'll catch y'all in the next one.
Yeah, peace. I want to grab my headphones again.